Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about meditation. Now, some of you may have tried meditation in the past to relieve anxiety or just get a moment of stillness and peace, only to find that it's actually making your anxiety worse. And you might be thinking you're doing it wrong or there's something wrong with you, and I'm here to tell you that is absolutely not the case. There's actually quite a few reasons as to why meditation might be making your anxiety worse. And in this video, I'm going to cover 5 common reasons as to why that may be. And I'm also going to give you some tips and tricks to overcome it so you can get the most out of your meditation practice. So, reason number 1. Peace can feel uncomfortable to those that are living in a constant state of fight or flight. Now, what that means is, in today's society, our nervous systems are constantly in overdrive. We are grinding, we are hustling, we're overworking, we're undersleeping, and our nervous systems are just used to operating at that state and being under constant levels of stress. So, when you do try to meditate, and bring that level down and find some peace and stillness, it's going to feel super uncomfortable simply because you're just not used to feeling that way. Your body is not used to operating at that state. We're always so focused on the next thing and what we have to do next that when we do try and go inward and find that peace, it's going to feel foreign to us, and that's okay. So that brings me to the next point. Reason number 2. Our minds crave what's familiar to us, even if it's not what's best for us. This is simply biological. Our brains are hardwired to want what's familiar to us. It's why it's so hard to break a bad habit, even if we know it's not what's best for us. It may not be beneficial, but at least it's predictable. Humans are creatures of habit. We like predictable. So if you're not used to meditating and sitting in stillness, it's going to feel really uncomfortable and unfamiliar, and our brain does not like the unknown. It's scary, so that is why meditation might feel uncomfortable for some of you. Know that that's normal. It's just your body reacting and feeling unsafe in an unknown situation. Know that there are ways that we can work on feeling safe even in the unknown. Reason number 3. You're not used to feeling your feelings or sitting in your emotions. Meditation can bring up a lot of emotions, whether it's something you experienced earlier in the day or something from your past that's simply resurfacing. And this can make meditation difficult for some people because a lot of us don't know how to recognize our emotions or let alone even process them. So when they do come up, we don't know what to do with them. In today's society, there's also a lot of shame attached to certain emotions, like things like sadness and anger. So when they do come up, instead of acknowledging them, we just stuff them down, we sweep them under the rug, or we numb out through things like scrolling on social media, drugs, and alcohol, whatever it may be, simply because we're not used to acknowledging and processing these emotions. Now, meditation asks you to acknowledge and feel these emotions without judgment. So if you're not used to doing that, you may think that meditating is bringing up or causing these emotions, when in reality, it's simply bringing your awareness to what was already there. Reason number 4. You can't shut off your thoughts because you're constantly worrying about the past or the future. Meditating is the practice to bring yourself into the present moment. But if you're constantly dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, it's going to be really difficult to bring yourself to that moment of stillness and peace. Now, this is really common in a lot of people. We are always worried about what's going on next, what's in our future, or dwelling on things that we did in the past. And when we ask ourselves to meditate, we are asking our mind to shut that off and only focus on the present moment. And this can bring up a lot of feelings of anxiety in people because we're doing something that we're not used to. We're doing something that's uncomfortable, and our brain is used to worrying about the future, and we're thinking, oh, well, how am I going to get this done? Or how am I going to do that? And we're not allowing ourselves to think about it. So it can make us feel really uncomfortable. But peace is found in the present, and the more you practice, the better you'll get. And last but not least, reason number 5, which may surprise you, and that is that the meditations you're doing are not long enough. Now, I know what you're thinking, Caitlin, if meditating is giving me anxiety, why would I want to do it for longer? Shouldn't I just start slow and work my way up? And the answer is yes and no. If your mind is constantly on overdrive and going a mile a minute, it's going to take longer to quiet the mind and find stillness. If you're constantly hustling, constantly grinding, you can't expect to do a 2-minute meditation and magically feel better. It's not going to happen. Now, I'm not saying to go and sit out in the woods and do a meditation chanting Om for 3 hours, but just know that the more you're overthinking, the more your mind is on overdrive, the longer it's going to take to quiet the mind in order to find that stillness to meditate. So hopefully those reasons help to give you some insight as to why you might be feeling anxious during your meditation. And I know you're probably thinking, that's great and all, but what am I supposed to do about it? So I'm going to give you guys 3 tips that will help you to overcome those feelings of anxiety so you can get the most out of your meditation sessions. Tip number 1 is establishing safety in the body. By establishing safety, we're getting out of fight or flight mode and into a more regulated state. You guys, this is where healing happens. If you're constantly living in a state of fight or flight or in survival mode, you're not going to be able to get that healing that you're looking for. You have to calm the nervous system and know that it is safe to feel and safe to be in your body. And meditation is just one practice you can do to achieve this, but if you're looking for other things you can do before getting into meditation, here are some examples. You can do grounding practices like getting out in nature, going for a walk, breath work practices. You can even say affirmations to yourself such as, I feel at peace here, my body is my safe haven, it is safe to feel my emotions. Even just closing your eyes and taking 3 deep breaths at any point throughout the day is going to help regulate that nervous system. And these are just a few quick examples. If you guys want me to go more in depth in any of these, let me know in the comments and I can make a separate video going into more detail on some of these practices that you can do. Another thing that could be helpful to feel safer in the body is just tuning into your own energy throughout the day. You can do this by doing a body scan either in the morning or at night, simply closing the eyes and just bringing awareness to your body and how you're feeling that day. Even if it's just for a second, this is going to help you get more comfortable tuning into your own energy so that you're able to sustain that awareness for longer periods of time during a meditation. One last thing you can do is look for moments throughout your day where you already feel safe and at peace. Like I said before, meditating is a great way to do this, but meditating isn't just sitting cross-legged and closing your eyes for an hour. We enter a meditative state whenever we are fully present and at peace with the present moment. So look for these moments throughout your day where you're already feeling safe and at peace and do more of those things. Tip number 2 is to get to the root of where these feelings of anxiety or unsafety are coming from. Start to ask yourself what's coming up when you meditate. Is it something from childhood, something you experienced earlier that day, a traumatic event, or simply that you just don't feel comfortable sitting in stillness? Start to journal on these things and allow yourself to process through whatever emotions are coming up. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, these emotions will continue to come up until you address them and process through them. Now, this is no easy task, so I highly recommend doing it with a therapist or a trusted mentor if possible. They will be able to help you process through all of these things and get you the healing that you need so you can get the most out of your meditation practice. But even by simply acknowledging the root cause of these things, they will no longer have as much power over you because you're bringing awareness to where it's coming from and allowing yourself to process through that. Tip number 3 may seem obvious, but it's true, and that is practice, practice, practice. If you utilize the other 2 tips of establishing safety first and getting to the root cause of where this anxiety may be coming from, you'll find that it's much easier to meditate. And start slow, just 10-15 minutes. Like I said before, you want to find that sweet spot of time where it's long enough that you're able to relax, but not so long that you find yourself drifting off. And above all else, be gentle with yourself. It's not going to happen overnight, but the more you get comfortable with sitting in stillness and feeling safe doing so, the easier it's going to get. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful and it cleared the air a little bit as to why you might be feeling anxious during your meditations. And hopefully you got some practical tips on how you can overcome it as well. If you're looking to practice more or you don't know where to start, you can check out my latest beginner-friendly meditation video, which I will link down below, or you can check out the rest of the guided meditations on my channel, which I will link at the end of this video. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!